What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode, of Real Conversations. I got a special guest today. He gonna introduce himself. He gonna break down different life insurance policies. He gonna break down the importance of life insurance for an individual and for a family. And he gonna tell us about the benefits and all the positives about life insurance. My boy, I want y'all to give him a warm welcoming. My boy Zach Bloom, life insurance agent. He gonna give y'all the real. Let's get it.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man.
What's
I really
going on,
appreciate
man?
it. Really
All right, all
appreciate it.
right. We appreciate you for stopping by, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. When
So
uh when you guys came on board, I said I have to go do it, man. It's my guy.
yeah, for sure, for sure. This is my personal life insurance agent, so I want to let that be known right now. This is personal. This ain't no play. This ain't no paid,
Hmm.
bought, and real deal. And we're gonna start from the beginning, Zach. Let them know your upbringing and where you come from, things like that.
Okay, absolutely, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, my name is Zach Blum. I'm a managing partner at Assurance Elevated. So I grew up at Rochester, New York, which is upstate New York. It's about an hour away from Buffalo. Really cold up there. So born and raised there. Played soccer, sports all my life. Went to college, got a degree in international business from SUNY Brockport, and then I actually went to Atlanta for 3 years in 2018 to pursue music for about 3 years, and then I moved to Florida in 2021, and been in car sales ever since I got out of college. I literally got my degree and I went to go apply for a job in international business, and every job said I needed 5 years of experience for an entry level position. So I was like, this is not right. So I got into sales. I was in car sales for about 10 years throughout that whole time period. It treated me really well. Really was not your typical salesman. And when it comes to cars, you know how you have those sleazy salespeople, the used car salesman. Uh, didn't do that at all with my clients. Transparent, honest, upfront. It was all about just getting them the best deal possible and what was going to actually help them and their family. Um, so last year, I was in my car dealership job and I was making very good money, but I was personally getting tired of uh, being told what I could and couldn't do as a top producer. Um, Having to take time off. I had to negotiate. Um, I couldn't go spend time with my family, and I got to a point where I saw the writing on the wall. You know, I got married last May. I got a kid in the way this May, my first child. So really excited about that. And I just knew that, you know, if I want to make my child soccer games or whatever sport he decides to play, I'm gonna have to negotiate. And so I came across this insurance opportunity where I could find something where I could use my skills and my love for helping people to in order to financially provide for my family as well. And long story short, I was like, you know, what other industry is better than helping families protect what matters most, right? With life insurance, and then also we specialize in health insurance as well. A lot of people in my life, they've had terrible health insurance plans where they're paying crazy amounts of money. So just being able to help them through that too, it seemed like a no-brainer. So I teamed up with Insurance Elevated. Within 6 months, I'm one of the top producers. Now managing partner, have my own office here in Cape Coral, Florida, servicing clients nationwide, and it's an absolute blessing. And couldn't be more thankful. Couldn't be more thankful.
All right, all right. I love that intro. But
Thank you.
I was gonna ask you how did you get into insurance, but you already got into that. So
Yeah.
since you already made that clear, go ahead and break down the different policies for individuals and for families and also for little ones, the toddlers, the babies and things like that.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you asked. So, biggest misconception of life insurance is that you can only use it when you pass away. What we do as Insurance Elevate is we show people how they can also utilize it while they're living. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, you and I can both agree everyone listening to this call, the generation wealth aspect of these policies are that death benefit, right? No one likes to really talk about it, but what would it look like if you did pass away tomorrow for your family financially? And that's a real conversation that we all have to have. And quite frankly, a lot of Americans don't have, right? There's a lot of people in this country that aren't insured properly. And that's why GoFundMe's are as big as they are. I think I saw a statistic about a couple months ago that like 70% of GoFundMe's don't reach their goals. That's crazy to me, right? So families are hurting. So one thing, first and foremost, guys, is you need to look into how important it is to have life insurance, right? You don't need to hear it from me, but definitely go and do the research yourself as well, because it's super important that you have some sort of policy. So one of the other biggest misconceptions is that it costs an arm and a leg. It doesn't. Okay. So we're brokers. We work with all the major carriers in the country. So we get the best rates, highest chance of approval. And that comes down to the types of policies that are available. All right. So when it comes to life insurance, you essentially have two different types of policies that make up the bedrock or the foundation of life insurance. Okay. You have a term and a whole life policy. So a term policy is like renting an apartment or a condo, right? So typically with renting an apartment, you rent your apartment for a certain period of time with your lease. And by the end of that lease, you can either renew that lease or simply pack up your things and move to a different location. Okay. So when it comes to term policies, they generally go up to 30 years, and it's like you're renting your coverage. Now, you have two different types of term policies. The first one's a straight term policy. So a straight term policy is you have your coverage for a certain period of time, and if you pass away during that time, your family gets that death benefit tax free. However, if you outlive that time period, right, if you outlive those 30 years, you really got nothing to show for it. Your insurance is up. So it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Either you pass away, your family gets the money, or you outlive it and you don't. So the second kind of term policy is called a cashback return of premium policy. And that's considered more of like an investment, because if you pass away, obviously your family gets that death benefit. However, if you outlive those 30 years, you get all of your premium payments back in a lump sum tax free. So it's kind of like a piggy bank on steroids, you could say, right? So it's like, if you outlive this time period in 30 years, you're going to get all your money that you've been putting in each month back in a lump sum. So it's kind of like a win-win. You pass away, your family gets the money. If you outlive it, you get all that money back. So that's a term policy. Okay. So it's like renting your coverage. Now, we're brokers, so we work with the top carriers in the nation. So these policies have a living benefit called a critical chronic terminal illness benefit. Do you remember how we went over that for your policy?
I do somewhat, but break it down for the people.
Got you, man. I got you. So what it is God forbid you ever get a critical chronic terminal illness like a heart attack, cancer, stroke, anything of that nature, you'd be able to access up to 80% of that policy's death benefit while you're living in order to help supplement income, pay for expenses until you can get back on your feet and provide for your family. So real life situation, we had a client, she was out of her Miami office. She got diagnosed with terminal cancer. She had a $100,000 policy. The carrier literally wired her $80,000 out of that $100,000 death benefit right into her bank account so she could actually use it while she was living to help her in her most toughest time of need. So once again, that's one of the ways that life insurance actually works when you're living that no one knows about. And so to kind of recap, a term policy is it goes up to 30 years. It's essentially like renting your coverage. And then it does have that cashback option where you can get all your money back in a lump sum tax-free at the end of those 30 years if you outlive it. So that's the term policy, right? The second kind of policy that makes up the bedrock or the foundation is considered a whole life policy. And so a whole life policy is just like what it sounds. It's a policy that lasts your whole life. You're never going to have to renew it. And it's also going to build cash value for you on an annual basis. Okay. So, after years and years of making your premium payments, you're going to be able to look back and see you have cash value growth. So instead of going to the bank for a loan or opening up a credit card, like those traditional ways that we borrow money, instead you take out the middleman, which is the bank or the credit card companies, and you simply just borrow from yourself in your policy. Okay. So the whole life policies can be used in various ways, right? It can be used for people that are really just more concerned about, generating cash value, or it can obviously be used for final expenses, the death benefit, etc. Okay. Now, that's the bedrock and the foundation, right? So, like what a lot of agents try to do when I talk to a lot of clients nationwide is they feel like agents really complicate this. It's really not complicated, and that's what we want to do. We want to make it as black and white and as simplified as possible because we don't want people to feel intimidated about these policies, right? Because if they feel intimidated and they don't come and, search out the information, then what happens is they end up being uninsured, they pass away, and that vicious cycle of not having that generational wealth continues. So, what I'm specifically passionate about and what Insurance Elevate is passionate about is breaking those cycles, right? I'm going to be that for my family, and I know you will be as well. Correct? So like
For sure.
that's what it's really all about, man. It's really all about. So those are the two types of policies that are the bedrock of the foundation. Now the third policy, that's the index universal life policy, and that's the policy that you hear all about, this infinite banking, becoming your own bank, creating generational wealth. It's the one that's taking TikTok, social media by storm, right? So the IUL,
Right.
it's as aspects of both a term and a whole life policy. Okay. So the way it acts like a term policy is it also does have that critical chronic terminal illness benefit. So if you do get that heart attack, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, anything of that nature, you'd be able to access up to a portion of that death benefit while you're living. Now, it also can act like a whole policy because it can last your whole life. And it's also going to build cash value for you on an annual basis. However, your policy's cash value is credited interest based on the performance of the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500, it's essentially a stock market index that's comprised of the top 500 companies in America. So typically, if the S&P 500 is going up, that means the U.S. economy is doing well. Now, if the S&P 500 is going down, that means the U.S. economy isn't doing well. So unlike someone that can go into Robinhood or open up an IRA or 401k or TD Ameritrade where you can go put your dollars into this index, directly invest in it, then obviously if it goes up, your money goes up, or if it goes down, your money goes down. So it's that roller coaster. The IUL uses a crediting strategy. So what that means is essentially however the S&P 500 performs year over year, up to 10%, you can get credited towards the cash value in your policy in the IUL while maintaining a 0% floor the whole time. Okay. So to kind of simply break that down, let's say in 2024, the S&P 500 year over year does 8% positive. Your policy's cash value gets credited that 8%. Now let's go to 2025. Let's say we have a crazy year, right? Like I think even in 2022, the S&P 500 did like negative 22% return. Don't quote me on that. Definitely go look, guys, but I'm right around there. Now, let's say that happens in 2025 year over year. The worst thing that happens is your policy's cash value gets credited that 0%. And that's it. So all your previous year's gains are always locked in. They never dwindle. And then also, you have that cash value aspect, of course, but then you have the death benefit aspect too. So over the years, obviously, whenever our time does come, that death benefit will be there for your family. But during that time, you can have access to cash value that you can simply just borrow from as it continues to accrue and accrue over time. So that's essentially really what's going on in the insurance world right now and the policies that are really out there and that are available to anyone that wants them.
Right. We appreciate you, giving us that knowledge, giving us that wisdom. And some people never even heard policies broken down like that. They just know of life insurance. So that was very informative of you to give us that knowledge. But at the same time, I got one more question. I mean, you cover all the policies, but like yourself and like me, we got little ones. You got a little one on the way.
Yep.
So what can somebody do to secure their little one's future and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Great point. So you have a couple options available. Okay. There's children's whole life policies, and you can also do children's IULs as well. Those recently have just came out as also. But the children's whole life policies and the children's IUL, it's essentially just a way for you to set up your son or daughter for generational wealth, getting them to get that compound interest early. So, I mean, you think that, us starting in our early 30s is going to be well when we're 60. Think about like when your child is just born or 5 or 6, starting that compounding interest too. Because compound interest friend, is what? Two things. It's the amount that you put into it and then time, right? That allows it to compound and grow and grow and grow. So children's whole life policies, it's a really easy way to get your child started on the path to generational wealth, get them knowledgeable on it, get them to see that firsthand when they are 17 or 18, see that cash value growth, and they'll be like, Dad, Mom, like, whoa, like, what is this all about? Well, you just showed them the power of compounding interest through insurance, right? So the children's whole life policies, it's a great way to do the compounding interest, but also it has something called a guaranteed insurability rider. What that means is, let's say you set up your daughter with the children's whole life policy like you did. And let's say that she gets juvenile onset diabetes, let's just say, okay? Now, when she's older, if she wanted to get insurance and she didn't have that children's whole life policy, she would be judged for that illness or that condition, and it would affect whatever quote she would get for insurance in the future because she's considered more of a risk. But with the guaranteed insurability, what that does is it says, okay, well, let's say that does happen, but I still want to get more insurance because now I'm having my own family, right? My parents told me and showed me how powerful insurance can be. I want to do this for my family as well. Now, when that child goes to get more of a death benefit, they're not going to be judged by that because they have guaranteed insurability. The only thing that's going to be judged is just how old they are. Because obviously, as you know as well, or if we didn't know this, so obviously insurance is affected by a couple of things, your health and your age, right? So the older you are, the more it can cost. So that's the power of those policies, the children's whole lives and the children's IULs, because you're essentially showing your kids early, getting them started early with growing compound interest, and then also getting them a really nice track record with the insurance carriers. Now, I want to add one thing too. And I think we spoke about this before as well. But, when people call in, different policies can be for different chapters in your life. I want to be very clear with the audience here that the most important thing is having something in place. Okay. Whether you get a cashback return of premium term policy, whether you get an IUL, right? Doesn't matter, right? Like what we do and what I specialize in is I learn someone's overall situation, right? Like I want to take a holistic approach to your plan. What's your income goals? What's just your overall goals in general, right? Your situation, how many kids do you have, whatever. And then we craft a plan. Now, sometimes, IULs might not be the best place for someone to start. Maybe it's just a term policy based on budget or whatever have you, right? So I want to be very clear with the audience that it's just important to have something in place, guys, because I promise you, I deal with it every day, and our agency does as well. We have many calls where clients did not get insurance with us or in general, but their family found our information thinking that they got insurance and they didn't. And it's a heartbreaking conversation. So if I could stress anything from this podcast today and from the time that you guys are giving us, which I'm so grateful for, is if you don't have insurance, you need to look into it. Okay. You need to look into it because it's just important, man. It's just important.
For sure, for sure. So you pretty much covered everything. I'm gonna leave you to close it out. Just get it people like your socials where they can find you, where they can even come pull up to you, at the office. Let them know
Yeah,
what you got going on, and we're gonna like that.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, I just want to thank you all for your time today again. Really passionate about what we do here at Insurance Elevate. Our whole agency slogan is putting people over profits. And it's something that is very important to us. So I encourage you guys, like I said, if you're not covered yet, or if you feel like what you have isn't good, or you have questions about what you have, reach out to someone. And if you want to reach out to me and my team, we'd be happy to help you. We're licensed nationwide. we're the good news people either way. We'll tell you what you already have is good, or we'll tell you how we can help it if there's any goal or any holes, in your coverage, because we want to always take that holistic approach. Health insurance as well. We do specialize in helping people lower their cost of health insurance, making sure they're getting the best plans out there to protect their family, because those health insurance premiums are crazy. So you can reach out to me directly at It's Zach Blum, ITSZACHBLUM on Instagram. That's the best place to find us. Or look me up at Zach Blum on Facebook. I have a public page there as well. We're based in many locations, the Tampa office location. We opened up one in Cape Coral too, so we're just getting that opened up and started. So once that's opened up, we'll let you guys know when it's fully fledged to have people come in. But we're just super stoked. We're super excited. We love helping families. And yeah, really looking forward to helping out anyone that needs it. Our DMs are open. Whatever you guys need, reach out. We're here to help you, walk you through it, hold your hand. We'll make it really simple for you.
All right, there
So
y'all
thank you
have
guys
it,
so much.
man. I appreciate you for coming through, man. Once again, platform open anytime you want to come back, man. It's all love. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, you appreciate you. God bless you. God bless you and your family. And thank you so much for, allowing me the time today to share the powerful benefits of insurance. And yeah, it's such a blessing. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. We out, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's been another episode. Real Conversations. Follow my man Zach Bloom. He gonna guide you in the right direction when it comes to life insurance. Oh, he's an expertise. It's my personal life insurance agent. So you can take it for what you take it for, man. I'm stamping it though. It's been a good episode. I love y'all. Like, share, and subscribe, comment. We gone.